Wait a minute, Rich. You haven't seen Die Hard?
You really haven't seen the 13th Warrior?
What about Dragonball Evolution?
Let's remedy that. Welcome to Raised by Spoilers, where we watch and unpack cult movies. I'm your legendary Super Saiyan host, Adam. To shudder with me on this movie, I call forth my co-host, Rich. Come forth and grant me my wish, peas and carrots.
Hey, everybody. Hello.
It was dramatic.
Yes.
That was really dramatic. That was good.
With a power level over 9,000, feminist warlord Amanda. What, 9,000? Pushing beyond her normal limits of a Super Saiyan plebeian wife, Amanda.
I got nothing.
You got nothing?
I have no response for that.
Today,
Wow.
we watched Torture Simulator 2. Others with blackened souls would know it as Dragonball Evolution. Released by Fox in 2009, directed by James Chow of The One with Jet Li and Final Destination. Against the lies of the production company, because they made many lies, and we'll talk about that. It, in fact, had a budget of $30 million and sadly made $58 million.
How?
I don't know. I'm amazed it made
This
money.
movie
at all.
didn't do good?
It did terribly, but still the fact that they technically made money
There's no way.
blows my mind.
There's no way.
There's no way. There's a Burger King ad. I remember it distinctly. We're going to watch it at the end of the show.
Okay.
Oh, God, we should. But I have to start with one question because we were kind of watching this movie, and I didn't know where our lines were when we started here. What is, I know plebeian wife's Amanda's exposure to Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z. Rich, Nintendo geek, what knowledge and or exposure do you have of the Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z universe coming into this?
Nintendo Geek, why don't you go first?
Oh, I remember getting up on weekends and getting up super early to watch these when they were airing. I'm assuming like the first time in Canada, back like early 90s. So I watched through Dragon Ball, then I found Dragon Ball Z. Not so much Dragon Ball GT. That was when I was kind of older, and I'm like, what? Because everyone was domesticated, and I'm like, this is weird.
You're saying a lot of things right now. I just want to let you all know.
Was this when it was like YTV era?
Yeah, I watched it on YTV for sure with the other, like, the first round of Japanese anime that came through with, like, Karopi,
Was Toonami still a thing?
Oh, for sure. Toonami Hat was the first to have it.
I don't mean to interrupt, but okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
but
just- I don't-
Toonami was
yeah.
for like the rich people who had satellite or illegal satellite.
I
You
did
know,
not have that.
The plebs had YTV.
I can confirm or deny if I had Toonami growing up as a kid. part of my memories are kind of foggy on what was on YTV or not on YTV because of having Toonami. And we're like, didn't everybody have that?
So we were the better folks with
I
Toonami.
wouldn't say better, but we had the privilege of watching stuff.
That's true, that's true.
Continue.
Yeah, we never had satellite. I couldn't even tell you. I'm assuming it's YTV that I've seen it on because it was on like before Pokemon came over on Kids WB. I always watched Dragon Ball. So I used to play Dragon Ball.
Dragon Ball.
Pretend on the playground at school. I was always Bulma. I got to beat up other kids because I was Bulma. Yeah, so I knew, like, I grew up with it.
Wow, okay.
Yeah.
I'm impressed. Rich, what you got?
This is my very first viewing of any Dragon Ball property. Oh. That is not a lie.
That is a lie because I have the Dragon Ball
and
cartoon.
which I have not watched.
I have, and you thought it was weird
I have
because
not watched
Master
any
Roshi
of
was
this.
going all over like Bulma's trying to get a peek out of her underwear and stuff, and you're like, what the hell?
I'm not familiar with this.
I swear I showed you the first few episodes.
So I grew up not watching anime.
No.
I had buddies that were on the ADD spectrum,
Sure.
as we all were growing up in the 90s. Mm-hmm. And they were like, this is the fucking show that's going to blow your goddamn mind. And I'm like, I think I'm okay. I don't necessarily think I need this in my life kind of thing.
You're 11 years old and I'm going to change everything.
I would have been
about
like,
you.
yeah, I would have been like, fucking 6. Right? So yeah. This is my first, like, this is Dragon Ball. This is the pinnacle. Like, you guys were like, okay, we're going to listen to the best Beatles album ever. Here's the Ringo Starr record.
What?
And I'm like, let's
Yoko
go.
Ono.
I am so sad that you weren't one of those kids that suited up in the neon colored, like, button-up shirts that had Goku's face plastered on it when he was in Super Saiyan mode and, like, walked around like you were cool shit with your frosted tips.
I wear those. No, I never had those. Wow. I never had any of that.
What kind of
I had
childhood did
I had
you
the anime
have?
shirts. I still own some of those because I've repurchased them in my adult life to wear them ironically because they're just so much. They're such an energy. But this is the first time that I've actually, like, from beginning, like, all the way through, watched really viewed anything Dragon Ball. And let me tell you,
sorry.
I have some thoughts.
Okay, so
Because this is a fucking movie.
before we go to our first questions, I got one last thing. We all know my involvement with Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z is pretty much everything.
You love it.
I
You
can
love it.
rattle you off everything. I love it. I'm into it.
Right.
I've got a post. We got a poster here in the podcast room of Dragon Ball Z.
Yeah.
And I've got plenty of models here and stuff like that. So that's pretty simple. I'm everything all the time ever since I was a child. Plebeian wife, Amanda, just so we can fill the viewers in. What's your experience?
Well,
Do you ball?
Do I ball? I didn't.
She dragons the balls.
I didn't for a very long time. And then I decided to be a really nice, loving wife and participate in something that my husband really, really is deep into. So I experienced Dragon Ball as the abridged series.
The Team 4-star.
Team 4-star, which is amazing and hilarious, and I love it. And I went through all that, and I'm like, okay, that was good. Yeah. And then there was more. So we watched Kai for the Boo Saga. And I was like, okay, yeah, I could do this.
You guys are all just saying words at this point. Like, so here's not to interrupt you.
following.
But wait.
I don't know if this is real or if you're making it up at this point.
We're lying to
But
you.
You all got a wood leg for Dragon Ball.
Yeah, but wait, there's more. And then Super came out, and I'm like, okay, well, I'm on this bandwagon already. I might as well just keep going. So we watched Super and the Tournament of Power and the movies in the theater, the Broly movie, and I guess I'm just a Dragon Ball fan now. So
You're deep.
that's a thing.
You're really deep.
I
into
feel
it.
it's
like
a
you
thing.
had like Stockholm syndrome
A little bit, yeah. It's like
with the movie.
Yeah,
do
I'm
you
not
like
gonna
it
lie.
or do you think you like it?
See, that's kind of funny because, like, we're going to sidetrack all over the place. Welcome back to the show, everybody. We did the same thing, though, but with Berserk.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Right, the films and the 2 seasons of the anime that didn't really go anywhere.
Yeah.
But I don't necessarily know if it was like that deep because that's wild. You got really into it.
There was
eh?
a lot of episode
Were
watching.
you thinking about Dragon Ball when Dragon Ball wasn't on?
No,
Okay.
no, I wasn't that hard into
See,
it.
that's how you know you're a fan. When you're sitting there and you're like, oh man, what happens if this guy kissed that guy? Then you're deep into the fan.
Did Goku know he was having sex at the time? Like, is that a thing? Did Chi-Chi
That's how he got his-
technically
that's how he
rape
got
him?
his powers,
I can't
right?
imagine that actually. Like when I found out that they had a child, I'm like, how?
Several, actually.
Yeah, they
But
have a
we're
couple.
not
they had several
reviewing
kids.
Dragon Ball.
We are not.
The anime, the manga, the card game, the DDR machine, fighter, or the or any of the fanfic. We're reviewing the movie. Adam.
I'm going to end with Rich because you've come at this from nowhere.
Yeah.
I'm going to start with Warlord here. What was your first impressions? Tell me your first thoughts on this movie.
Well, I think I started chirping it immediately. Like it started, and I'm like, oh boy. No, I knew, like, cause I heard it wasn't great,
You knew coming in.
and yeah, I don't know. I wanted to like it. I wanted to give it a chance, and then it just kept like just disappointing and disappointing. So
I think
Yeah.
the problem, part of the thing here is we knew it was bad. Everyone cycled into it. I think this was the only movie where we chirped the movie the whole way through.
Oh yeah, we had
It
our
was
own running
constant.
commentary.
It
This
sounded
was
like a bird cage in there with all the chirping going on.
this was Mystery Science Theater the whole time.
Yeah.
It was fantastic.
What did you think of it having your long history?
So I'm pretty sure I watched this movie at some point, but it was so bad that I just expelled every memory of it from my brain. So it was kind of like watching it as a new experience again, and it was god awful, and it was probably just as god awful as it was the first time. And I couldn't help but feel like it was somewhere between watching the Power Rangers movie from like my childhood and a weird like cheap daytime soap episode, like Spanish telenova mixed with like a martial arts film. I don't know. It was so all over the
All
place.
of that sounds really good, though.
I love you, but don't you ever compare the Power Rangers movie to this movie.
No. I think she's referring to not the newer one, the older one.
Oh, the original.
Yeah, the one with ooze.
Yeah.
The best Power Ranger movie.
You didn't like the new one?
Sure.
No.
Oh, the new one was great.
Well,
Okay,
we're going to find out about
Why
your,
don't you defend Dragon Ball?
well, we're going to find out your tastes in movies.
Yeah.
Tell us your tastes.
All right. I loved it. Not because it was good, not because it was too long, not because they didn't explain anything, not because as a new viewer, which I think is important too. The same thing I found with the Warcraft movie. If I know absolutely nothing about this franchise and I'm going in, does it paint a clear picture? Does it tell a clean story? Does it explain the rules of the world and why things are sort of happening, right? The exposition dump on all of that, right? Bring out those Tonka trucks and just drop that lore. The old lore dump trucks, I like to say. This had none of that. So I was pleasantly surprised to go in.
Hold on. They explained that Piccolo was once trapped and now he's not.
Nothing.
And they explained that Ozaru was Piccolo's minion.
Yeah, like three
Twice.
fucking times.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they
they
really
went
wanted
through
to
it.
drive that home,
Yeah.
right? That's fucking Strodinger's gun that he put in his mouth at that point. So, but they didn't necessarily explain how or when or why or any of the
No.
other questions. They just said there was a box, and in that box there was stuff.
There was another box. In that box, there was another box.
Right. This movie is a film, a real picture, something that you'd go to the show to see, like a movie. A lot of empty words of nothing. Not to fucking quote Harry Styles there, but holy fuck. Why? Who? How did it get made? How did a studio backing it go, we're going to make 5 of these? How did they, like, there's money. There was Burger King ads and toys and all kinds of stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Like, they really dug in saying, this is a franchise we have the license for, and we're going to do it. Like, we're going to do it. This is going to be what, predate the Avengers?
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Predate the Avengers, even with the ending cutscene and shit. Like, that's
Oh,
the
yeah.
after credits. This is wild, man. There were some ideas.
So, just so you know,
a bad movie, by
Dragon
the way.
Ball.
It was a bad movie.
God
It was a
awful.
really bad movie.
The fact that I'm a Dragon Ball fan, I think we all know that this is not only a mechanically a bad movie in writing, in acting, in camera footage, it's also terrible for the Dragon Ball lore.
Okay.
It is a bad movie through and through.
Yeah, because I had no idea what the fuck was happening.
Yeah.
At all.
Exactly.
At all.
Even
And
if you had no love or nostalgia towards the material,
you're right.
it just assaulted you terribly. You were touched in places you should not have been touched in.
I wouldn't go that far. I do feel like there was a brief moment in the beginning where I'm like, wait a minute, how long is this fucking movie? Like there was, my phone was plugged in charging, so I couldn't check like how the length of the time, which is always a sin for a film. If you have to pick up your phone and go, oh fuck, it's still got another 2 hours. It's an hour and a half, and we're only 15 minutes in. That's a problem.
Yeah. So what I've got to add on is I got to add a little bit of information dump here.
Give me
So-
bring on the tow truck.
Yeah,
Or
there
the
were
Tonka
some
truck.
pretty good actors in this. James Marston, and basically what you kind of need to know is he played Piccolo in this.
Oh, so it was
I
a success.
couldn't tell.
They could have made another one. They
In
made
theory-
enough money.
They made enough money. Like I said, the budget was 30 million. But James Marsden, who is a huge fan of Dragon Ball, he actually plays Zamasu in Super.
Oh,
James Marsden is
I like
Goku?
Zamasu.
No, he plays Piccolo.
Yeah, you never know
Oh.
because he's just got a bunch of latex on.
So, how did... I don't want to interrupt you. I know you got a lot
Yeah.
going on. How did they get fucking Johnny Knoxville, though, to play Goku? And what was up?
Chadwick?
What was with the Instapot?
The Instapot.
Yeah, they had the Instapot to trap Piccolo in.
Oh,
I'm so fucking lost. Okay, keep going, please.
Yeah, so they actually got Chow Yun-fat to play Roshi. They got all these actors, including James Marsden. Do you know how they did it? Who is that? Chow Yun-fat?
Who are any of
James
these?
Marsden.
Who are any of these people?
James.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Oh, okay.
I
Fair
have no
enough.
idea what you're talking about.
Well, you know who James Chow Yun-fat is. Come on. No?
Okay, Chow Yun-fat's been like in every major martial arts film you could think of.
Let's just go through this guy's filmography super quickly. Okay, his filmography has its own wiki. It's not on his wiki. Okay? So let's just start from 2000. Let's start Bulletproof Monk, which is, he's kind of famous. Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon.
Okay, I've seen those two.
Yeah, I'm sure you have.
But I haven't seen both.
Pirates of the Caribbean.
Oh.
Haven't seen that one.
As if.
Yeah, and this was basically the end of his career. Dragon Ball Evolution. It was pretty much the end of it.
I can see why.
Yeah, that
That's
was.
He's
where I
done a
know him
lot of
from,
films.
He's done a lot of films.
I recognize him now from Pirates of the Caribbean.
Really, that's what you recognize him from? Oh, he's famous for wire martial arts movies.
Okay.
Those classic Chinese
okay.
martial arts
Okay.
movies.
Okay. Very cool.
He's very famous for that. And how you get this guy to do this movie is, first of all, you lie to all the actors and tell them it's actually a movie with a budget of 120 million. And it's directed by Stephen Chow instead of James Wong. So basically, a lot of these actors were told that they were getting 120 million. Not them personally, but the movie was 120 million.
There was money behind it.
There's money behind
backing
it.
behind
And
it.
Stephen
The studio
Chow
believed
who's-
in it.
Yeah, and Stephen Chow, who's a famous martial artist director, came in, also a writer for like X-Files and shit
Okay.
like that. He came in, they're like, yeah, great. They brought him down to Mexico to do the filming. None of that. They found out at Mexico while they were filming that it was 30 million.
So literally like a fourth of the budget.
And it shows.
Oh, it shows.
It definitely
shows.
does.
It shows.
Especially in their CG budget.
Yeah. So-
bad CG.
The writer openly came out later on saying that he regrets everything and he only took on writing this to make a paycheck. He had no love for the passion for the series, no passion for the franchise, and he deeply regrets everything involved.
And he should.
Yeah.
I mean, you take a job to take a job, right?
Oh, for sure. So there's some
Especially
context.
in Hollywood. Like, if you want it or not.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah, so there's some context as to how this kind of thing can just go to crap.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. A bunch of lies and a bad stuff. Now, there is one good thing that came out of this movie. One good thing.
There is.
This movie,
Was there a Burger King cup?
yeah, this movie angered Akira Toriyama, the creator of Dragon Ball, so much. It pissed him off so much. He made two vows. One, he will never franchise it out, or he will never allow the license to go out to another major company like that without his involvement. Second, it brought forth the new Dragon Ball movies, which was Battle of the Gods and Resurrection.
The animated ones.
The animated ones. Which
ones.
then produced Dragon Ball Super. So without this movie, we would not have the resurgence of Dragon Ball today.
I mean,
Is
I
there
guess
a
that's...
resurgence? Yeah, you're all
Yeah.
shaking your
Oh,
head
for
like
sure,
I'm
yeah.
crazy.
Oh, yeah.
Honestly, when we went to see the Broly movie in theaters, it was packed. And it was packed with people our age who were like, holy shit, this is my childhood. This is amazing. We all need to see this and we all need to enjoy this.
I mean, they do make it into like an event. So that's kind of a really
Yeah,
cool
oh,
thing
yeah.
too. And I'm not like, by all means, trust me, I'm not here to shit on Dragon Ball. I'm here to shit on Dragon Ball Evolution.
yeah.
I'm not here, blah, blah, blah. I love the fandoms. I love everything that everybody are involved in and stuff. It's fantastic.
Yeah, like I've never seen so many people other than like back in the day when, we were kids and you see Dragon Ball shirts around. Like Dragon Ball clothes now is like high fashion and like certain like
Yeah, well, the workout
like
gear
Thundercat
even, right?
in the Do-Rag
Oh, yeah.
video. He's
Yeah.
wearing like Dragon Ball
Yeah,
Z
the
shorts.
the spiky hair guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I haven't seen as many adults now. Like I'm seeing like Dragon Ball stuff everywhere.
Yeah.
It's crazy, yeah.
So I got to start asking about the plot of this.
Let's go into the plot. What was the movie? What happened?
This movie starts off with Goku having training with his grandfather.
No, it does not.
What? Oh, it starts off with a big fucking sweaty head.
Exposition dump.
Oh, you're right. Yeah. Oh my
Yeah,
god.
it's
The
our
smoky
exposition
art.
dump.
Smoky art of the planet. Bad CGI of the planet Earth. The
Yes.
galaxies. We get the lore of Piccolo. We get wizards from the moon fucking trapped him. There is a King Kong. And they put him in a jar.
Yes.
Yeah.
2,000 years ago.
2000.
And from there, we get the sweaty boy
Yeah, we get
doing
sweat.
some real sweaty stuff.
And we get nose hairs.
A
in
lot of
HD.
nose hairs and a close shot of some unibrow. It's okay. He's a young lad. Johnny Knoxville's looking good. Then what happens, Adam?
Oh god, I can't do this. I can't sit here and talk about the plot of this movie. I need
standing
you
on
to walk
ropes.
through this. I need you
My
to walk
guy,
through
he's
this.
standing on ropes.
It angers me thinking about
He's
this.
standing on ropes. And then, without any explanations of the world or the lore or the power or any of that shit, Grandpa, who we then later find out is 70, 75,
Something like that.
jumps up onto the two ropes and starts fighting his grandson with a stick.
Yeah.
And then a poorly CGI beetle gets flicked into Grandpa's mouth, and Goku, Johnny Knoxville, goes to punch Grandpa or run and kick him.
Something like that.
And then Grandpa jumps up. We get our first slow motion shot as he then like finger blasts him with a gust of air across the backyard as he falls.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then nothing ever happened with the bug in his mouth. There was no choking. There was no like.
He didn't spit it out.
It just got forgotten.
Then they
about.
laugh.
He swallowed it
They
and left.
sort of high five and then go inside, and
That's my protein.
Grandpa gives them shit about not fighting.
Yeah, he also whines about, first of all, not getting the girl. He's not allowed to do fighting. His grandpa forbade him from fighting. In theory, it's because with his training, he could literally kill a man
Right.
with a single flick.
He says that I could rip them apart with one hand.
Yeah. And then
Why
am I holding back? Well, can't you teach me something useful other than like defending myself against the entire universe? Why don't you teach me something useful? You know, I can lift trucks and fight people left, right, and center. But why don't you teach me something useful? Like getting that pussy.
I
and
mean,
none of that is
him-
explained
None of it.
until the
But
end.
him using his powers is what got him the girl. So he already taught him.
Yeah, you're absolutely right.
Yeah, I guess.
He like he used his key to fling all the lockers open, getting stuff everywhere. Her paper's lost. She's
we-
already late for class.
we follow Goku.
and then she's
to
like,
school,
"Who is that?"
Who is that?
Which
vandal?
wouldn't freak anybody out.
Yeah, she's
Yeah,
like,
I
"Oh
know.
my god, we're the same person." And it's
So-
like, "Oh god."
So Goku goes to school. He rides his bike. He runs into the first villains of the movie besides the budget and the editor. His bike gets wrecked by what? Chad?
Actually, his name was Fuller.
Chad 2,
Fuller?
His name was
Chad
Fuller.
3.
Vegeta shows up and crushes fucking Goku's bike.
I have a problem with that scene. As someone who loves my car and has a muscle car,
Yeah.
this guy runs over someone else's bike with his really nice Mustang.
Right.
Hey, Adam, what happened when you ran over my bike with your car?
Exactly.
You like lost your shit.
I lost my shit. I would never run over someone else's bike on purpose.
Sorry, your
That's
bike
terrible.
assaulted his car, so
Yeah,
That's
apparently.
what the police report says.
I don't understand. This is the worst bully I have ever seen. I'm going to destroy my personal property.
Yeah, dick.
They also all looked like they were like 25.
Yeah, they're all 25. So Vegeta runs over his car, or runs over his bike. Goku is now spying on presumably the love interest. Oh no, he's in class.
He's in class.
He's in
Oh
class.
yeah, he's like
daydreaming.
fantasizing.
This.
Such a creepy face. He's like, and he's very expressive about it.
They
And he's
poorly CGI her out, and then the wind's like blowing up her skirt or her dress.
eating
And she's
strawberries.
eating berries in a field of
strawberries.
flowers.
And he's now turned fully to her.
Erect, like a fucking tent in the middle of the woods.
So
Just
I have to
tent
add
in the field.
As far as I can tell you, because this is my role in this episode, is I know the lore very well. So Goku didn't know the word marriage. He thought it was a food. There is no way he had any sexual interest in another human being. Ever.
Yeah, it's true.
So they could have did a little bit of a better job with that with one line. Grandpa, you're eating me out of house and home. Right? Keep training every day, but you're eating me out of house and home, Goku. Like,
Also, now that you brought up the food thing, if that was actually like in the anime, Goku would have imagined her eating like how he was eating a turkey leg or
Yeah.
like noodles
That
or
would have been
something.
him.
It would have been a
it's so
strawberry.
true.
It would have been an oversized, just like ridiculous food.
he's always got something in his hand.
Oh,
He's
because in
eating-
the anime, he's
eating
always eating.
Yeah. The other thing I should add is this is we get premature a little bit to the plot, whereas in this one, Piccolo killed Gohan, the Grandpa Gohan. In the original lore, which is I don't know why they got rid of this, because this to me is what makes some shit dark. Goku turned into Ozaru and accidentally stepped on, because he's a giant in the cartoon, like not quite Empire, but think
He's King Kong.
He's King Kong.
Yeah, it's King Kong.
And he accidentally stepped on Gohan, and he never knew this. He never found this out until basically the end of Dragon Ball.
Yeah, I didn't know that either. I didn't even know there was a Grandpa
Yeah,
Gohan.
but that's a little trickier than saying, hey, you killed him and here's a giant pool of blood.
Well, that's probably why they made... Oh, I'm getting ahead of myself.
Because there was no blood in this movie.
No, they couldn't.
No.
This was probably rated PG.
PG.
She cut
Yeah.
her arm.
There is one.
Oh,
you're right.
that's
One
right.
paper
Yeah.
cut.
One paper cut. Yeah. You're right.
So none of the powers get explored. None of the powers get explained. Goku fucking uses the wind to bust open all of the lockers. And then the love interest, what was her name again?
Chi-Chi.
Chi-Chi.
Thank you. Chi-Chi turns and goes, did you use that magic? And was totally not phased
It
by
was
any of it.
airbending.
It was airbending. Oh my God, you used your key to do magic and you opened all of the lockers.
You fucking bandit. Ran.
And she's
Vandal.
cool with it.
Yeah.
No one is phased. That's why I was so confused. At that point, I'm like, wait a minute. They don't get the powers from the Dragon Balls? So, like, the people who hold the balls have the power, and
No.
that's why they can
No,
do
you
the
just
cool
make a
shit?
wish.
No.
That's why there's, like,
No,
this-
the Dragon Balls have no power other than summoning Shenron. They're not
To make
like
a wish.
Yeah, they don't give you power or do it. They're just like a trinket.
Well, not even
otherwise.
like the Infinity Stones, because the Infinity, they would have power. But yeah,
Yeah,
they're just
right.
kind of like
I
a
thought
conduit.
whoever, that's why they were like, okay.
No, they don't give
So-
you power.
Powers within you.
So they don't explain any of that.
No.
We get we get Chi-Chi rubbing strawberries on her face and Wind trying to blow up her dress, and it's cringy and it's really bad CGI.
brutal.
It's also the first outfit and the only outfit she wears that isn't just showing off her chest.
Her breasts.
That's
or
true.
her
It's up
chest.
to her. It's
Yeah.
more of like a because
Yeah.
she wears that in these shows. She's wearing more of a traditional, like a like.
She
the
is
high
not wearing as
collar.
traditional as she does in the show.
No, but
Yeah,
it was
no.
kind of like a nod to it. I'm like, okay, I see what you did there, but then it just was boobs throughout the whole movie.
Oh,
Yeah,
my
there's
God.
this
of boobs.
weird like Asian fetish running through this film too, even though everybody like the majority I don't know, man.
Well, you have to think of it this way.
a lot.
Listen, we're digging into Chi-Chi and her outfits and stuff like that. So, first of all, I think a lot of people would like her dresses if they could support it in their time. But you have to remember, this is a show for children who are like, what? Just coming into puberty?
I was like 7. when I
They're
was
a little after puberty.
Adam,
They're
here's
like grade 9.
Here's the hard time you're gonna have. We're not talking about the show. We're talking specifically.
Yeah, no,
about
I'm talking this movie.
Yeah.
This movie,
You
sorry.
can't compare both.
Sorry, I was talking
Yeah,
about the movie.
yeah,
This
yeah.
movie was coming out for people who were like in grade 9 or 10.
Yeah,
or
this
something.
is a very much a high school kid story.
Yeah.
This is a high school, like genuine, innocent high school kid movie.
Yes,
It's
and
less
these-
boys being boys.
Yeah, and so they're trying to show off her, and they're trying to sexualize because these are little boys who are watching these
Yeah.
anime shows and these
Yeah.
Asian women, and they're all into Asian women, and now they're like, "Here's our Asian woman for you."
You're right.
That's what that's all about, which
Right.
is terrible.
Yeah. The fact that his bullies are also 35 is a little rough as well. They talk about the eclipse. Goku daydreams about strawberry fields forever, and then wakes up and then spouts off some deep lore about something. I didn't catch it because we were all still processing the strawberries. That when Goku comes to, he's like, there's the thing that's going to happen at the end of the movie, and I can't remember what it was. And the teacher all kind of like makes fun of him.
Well, no, it was because he didn't think he was paying attention, but it was like, I think we were talking through it, but I think it was this type of eclipse hasn't happened for 2,000 years because it was the last time that they sealed Piccolo on the same.
Yeah, I remember them actually talking about the Namekians specifically, and I don't
Did they
remember,
say the word Namekian?
They did actually say the word Namekian, which I was surprised, and I'm like, what does that? That wasn't even relevant to this movie.
Is that why Piccolo got out? Because we're still trying to figure that out.
It never explained.
Hopefully we can figure out why on our journey through the
They
plot.
never explained
I don't think they ever
No,
did.
he's just up with her
Mai.
yeah.
He's up with Mai.
And it's like, did Mai get him out? Did she like?
How did she
dig?
find him?
I
don't know.
Did she dig? There wasn't like the Shang-Chi or even like in Miss Marvel. There's a great moment where they're like, hey, we were digging during the partition.
Yes.
We
Yeah.
found this thing. We unlocked it.
They-
And
Yeah.
it's been out searching.
Some miners got it.
Right.
They probably
They
didn't
didn't
have
have
the
that
budget for it.
They might have had a scene where they had a bunch of miners going, ka-chink, chink, boss, I found something. What's
Let's
this?
open it.
Mm-hmm.
Whoops.
Right.
Like, and everyone's dead at the mine. You know what I mean? Like, that's all they had to
Wonderful.
have.
It was the same thing with why the costume was important at the end.
The costume. Oh,
Yeah,
the
his
Goku's
outfit, 'cause,
Goku's
like-
outfit.
We'll get there. So she gets Chi-Chi invites Goku to the party. Goku, we find out that it's Goku's. We don't find out it's Goku's birthday yet. This movie and the writing in this is so awful.
It's so all over the place.
Yeah.
It is, and I'm not trying to do a poor job. That's just the movie. Goku goes home, changes, gets ready. You guys said there's a bit where he's putting gel in his hair.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
his
He
hair
pointed
is
it out.
famous in the anime for always sticking up.
Way too much gel in his hair. It was gross.
You know what? It felt like a very like Superman moment. You know, like in the original Superman.
Where he always has the curl.
Well, no, where he's like sitting in the mirror and he's like preening himself. I don't know. I felt like it was belonged in Superman or not Superman. Spider-Man.
Oh, that's what you're talking about, with the
Oh, yeah,
glasses.
yeah.
Yeah.
Do you know what bothered me with that scene? Was he had literally hands dripping with gel, right?
Yeah, he was busy.
He was busy. He had his hands dripping with gel. And then the only thing he did to clean his hands was rub them on the pants that he's about to go
Yeah,
out
he just
with.
wiped them on his pants. And it's blue gel. Like, it was obviously blue because they got blue gunk on the mirror.
It was probably Dippity Doo. It's like the cheapest gel. Although that is that's green gel.
That's all I
but,
could
like,
afford down on the film
The,
set.
the man version of Dippity Doo.
I'm a messy guy and I get food all over me, but I could not stand for that.
So
Also, the fact that he stood up his grandpa, because he's like, Goku, dinner's ready, and nothing. And then it's so sad, because then it shows Gohan just sitting with his cake and his food, and he's just waiting.
Excuse me, how do you ditch your grandpa when he makes you chicken feet and squab? Like, come on.
all of the food looked the lack of food / the amount of food in the movie when there was food, it all looked great.
I do love
all of the food
Grandpa
looked great.
Gohan's like, yes, he
That's
like
how you
suckles
get
on
Chicken
the
feet,
chicken.
man. You lick those. You lick those.
That
babies.
actor got into those feet.
Goku then walks. We assume
Well,
because
he-
his bike,
Well, he
is
can
His
walk
destroyed.
really
bike got
fast.
trashed.
His bike got trashed, so he doesn't drive.
I assume he walked the distance because they show him later with the turtle shell of stuff running really quickly. So I assume
That's
he can walk
supposed to
really
be the
quickly.
turtle
So-
shell stuff because
Yes.
it was a really bad turtle shell.
And it didn't look like a turtle shell at all.
No, it just looked like a sack with crap in it.
But before he did that, he goes to the party, which happens to be at a castle.
Wait, I mean, the party doesn't make sense, but the castle makes sense.
None of it fucking makes sense, my guy. None of it makes sense because then you're like, yeah, they're at a party and they're all underage except the bullies who are 36.
That's what I'm saying.
And
They're all of age.
You're like, they're drinking glasses of the plastic cups with water.
No, they're
Yeah.
glass. Because when he threw it, it smashed.
shattered.
Did it?
And everyone at the party had these. I'm like, how many of these glasses do they own?
They own a castle.
Yeah.
They're in a castle.
In
That's
Paris.
fine.
She's a very rich, well-off character. Like,
Is she?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
is,
she's supposed to be,
Yeah,
yeah.
she's very rich.
That she owns a castle?
Her
Her
dad
dad
does.
owns the castle.
Her dad that we never
Her
hear
dad's a
mentioned?
king.
Her dad's the Ox
At
King.
what point did they ever say any of that?
Oh, not in the movie
In
ever
the
at all.
movie. No, that's what I mean. So
No,
they just
never.
show up at a castle.
No, never.
And it's like, what the fuck is going on? Why are they at a castle?
Yeah, they have these like really weird, fucked up things where they kind of poke you, or if you know the lore, you're like, oh, okay, I get what's going on. But at the same time, this is still wrong.
Doesn't make sense.
It doesn't make sense. And if you're not viewing it, it definitely doesn't make sense.
Right.
It's so dumb.
Right.
Oh, God.
It cuts to a woman in a village
Well,
where...
hold on. Is this after or before the car fight?
I think that we get the car fight. I think we're getting the mixed up of Goku going to the party. Oh no, going to the party and then Piccolo attacks.
Right.
So it is the car fight.
Because he takes the Dragon
So
Ball.
the 35-year-olds are done drinking their cups of water, and they say, "Yo, Goku, freak,
No, Giku.
Giku, you better get out of here." And he turns and goes, "I was invited," and like,
I'm loved.
No, he goes to leave and he's like, I'm not doing that anymore.
right.
And then he starts doing the...
Goku had a tummy ache and was brave today. That's pretty much what the vibe was.
I'm not going to lie. This was the one scene in the movie that I won't say I liked, but I will say I didn't hate.
You like the choreography.
No. I just really like the trope of, and it's very Dragon Ball Z, to like the trope of, I am so much more powerful than you that I don't have to fight you to win. I can let you beat yourself up. Mm-hmm. That's a fairly strong trope, and I kind of enjoyed it.
That's fun.
I didn't enjoy it. I just didn't hate it.
Okay.
Yeah, that's about all you can get from this movie.
Yeah.
A fight happens. He kicks a bunch of guys' butts. He assaults a few people. There's a lot of property damage. There's a lot of vehicle damage. It's awful. And then we get... No, we're wrong. We're backwards. So Piccolo attacks a small village and gets the first Dragon Ball that we see.
No, they do the fight and then I see what you're saying. Yeah.
Because he goes home, right?
Yeah.
So for Goku's birthday, Grandpa gives Goku a Dragon Ball because it's his prized possession. We then get a shot of Piccolo in a skyship for some reason, throwing down light and destroying a village because this still isn't explained at this point in the movie. None of this is explained. So he throws down a ball of light and it completely levels the town. And then a woman is searching, an Asian woman is searching for people. And we get a mother or a sister or a daughter even hiding a smaller Asian woman as they try to conceal and hide the fifth Dragon Ball or whatever.
One of them.
One of another Dragon Ball. They then take it. We assume those characters are killed. They're shot and killed. And then the party happens.
Hilariously, because I have a history with it, first of all, why did the gun have to charge up every single time she pointed at someone?
It was cool.
I wouldn't know if I'd say it's a cool sound, but it just doesn't make any sense. Second of all, no, I don't assume Mai did kill them. Not only, Mai is actually someone with a soul. She is not a horrible, bad person.
Not in this movie.
Maybe. They don't really talk about that. So it is interesting to see that you think that she killed them, and yet I don't. Because
sorry, go ahead.
just because I have this pre-existing notion of who Mai is.
Okay.
So I enjoy that concept that we have this differentiation of like what happened off screen.
So the only reason why I say that is because when we're first introduced to this character, because we don't know her name yet,
You're right.
and they don't actually say her name.
No, I don't think they
At
ever.
all?
No.
name.
Do they never say the name Mai?
No.
That's why I have no
No.
idea who you're talking about.
Holy shit.
Mai, or Asian woman, walks over and is about to shoot the floor where we know there is the young child hiding in the corner.
Yes.
The mom, daughter, sister comes out of the hatch and goes, enough, and then hands her the Dragon Ball.
Yes.
Then I think we hear a gunshot, or there's nothing.
I don't think there was anything.
Well, after the fact, she charges the gun and points it at the, after
Yeah,
she
she
gave it to
charges
her.
the gun again.
Yeah,
It's-
so that's
she?
what,
Yeah,
yeah.
she
Yeah,
char-
she
that's
does.
that's when you hear the charge. That's
then
why
it
the
cuts
question of
out.
why does she have to charge the gun after she's already
Oh.
she was about to fire it. And then
Okay.
it cuts out. That's
Yeah.
why. Because she's charging the gun to fire it. Then we cut the party happens. Mai shows up, throws ninja stars, which is not the name of
Okay,
those.
they're
shurikens.
high-tech shurikens.
Are they?
Because they have little lights in them.
They did they?
Yeah, they have like
did.
little lights
They
in them.
though I thought those were jewels.
Oh, I guess they could have been because they did nothing.
They did nothing, right?
Yeah.
And tries to kill Grandpa.
Yeah.
So there's our like 5th assault of this movie.
Even after the fact that they know it's not there.
And that is the only reason why I'm like, she's a killer. She walks into the scene and tries to kill an old man.
The first thing she
does is just, boom, you're done. I'm going to search the house and keep moving. We get our second or third shot of Piccolo as he walks in the house and just kind of smells the air. And he goes, oh, it's not here. And then he walks out and then twists his hands and destroys the house, killing Grandpa.
Destroys like a quarter of the house.
Only the
maybe
front
half.
of it.
Right. A quarter of the house and kills Grandpa.
Yeah, he destroyed an entire city with a single explosion, but now he can only destroy half of the house.
And he didn't disturb the squab.
No, he did not.
Very important.
Squabs were intact.
Yep, squabs were intact.
Goku all of a sudden gets the shivers because he's talking to Kiki. Chi-Chi. Whatever.
I don't disagree.
I'm sorry. She did an okay job in the film as an actress.
She was really good.
She did what she could do with what she was given.
Yeah.
Especially even if it was rubbing a strawberry on her face. She's like, I will rub that fucking strawberry on my face the best I can because I want to be in movies.
I have to ask, was anyone threatened by, like, felt even remotely threatened by Mai or Piccolo? Like, did he feel like a villain?
I mean, my sexuality was threatened with all of these fucking actors.
I mean, I think she was more threatening because she was one actually like, she was like the henchman.
And he didn't feel threatening because he would just come in and be like, I don't have to do stuff because
Yeah,
you're
he was just a
beneath me.
guy, and it's like, oh well, this, what the hell?
I was just upset they didn't have Shu. I had to look up his name. It's
The
Shu,
dog?
the dog. That's Mai's like conscience. Maybe that's why she's so evil in this movie because she doesn't have her conscience. She doesn't have Shu.
Well, the thing is, and it's quite interesting with some of these movies, especially with the good guy, bad guy scenarios. It's the same thing with the frat boy, like American Pie movies. They don't want you to feel. They want the action scene to happen.
Yeah.
You want to cheer for the good guy. You want to boo for the bad guy. There is no heel like wrestling. They don't want you to think about it. They don't even want you to feel. They just want to move from one scene to the next scene.
Which I think, you're
And
right.
if you have a subconscious of, is this all right? Should we be doing this? Then that questions the viewer, and then that takes you completely, not necessarily out of it, but then you start breaking down the reality of the film that they're trying to sell.
Yeah,
the problem is
can't hold up for that.
without the feelings of what's going on, you don't get the release of victory. You don't get the, that second act despair, all hope is lost moment.
Right.
If you don't have those feelings, you don't have those. And therefore, when you don't have the no hope is lost, you don't gain the release at the end when victory is won.
Right. There's never a moment where they're all like, fuck, we have to go steal this thing or get this MacGuffin to fix that, or we're faced with a hard decision. How are we going to handle this?
Yeah, you don't feel the weight of those decisions.
Right.
I think the other part that the reason why there's a lot of not cares, aside from the writing is awful.
Right.
But the actors probably act about as well as I did in high school drama class. Except for Chi-Chi. Chi-Chi actually did pretty okay.
That's directing. That's writing. That's
for sure.
what they're given and what they can do with, right?
That's
It
easy.
doesn't feel like it's improv because
No.
they're all so.
Did Mai even have any lines?
Maybe like give me the ball or where is it?
Hand it over.
Hand it over.
Okay, because I don't remember her talking.
I don't remember her talking at all.
She
either.
did actually. She at one point she was giving a report to Piccolo on the ship, and she says, "Oh, Son Goku is being trained by Master Roshi."
right,
and blah
right,
blah.
right,
Right. So she
right.
does actually say something of
Okay.
relevance, I guess.
Right. Okay, so then Goku gets the shivers and goes, "There's something wrong with my grandpa," and leaves Kiki,
Chi-Chi.
Chi-Chi, whatever. And she's like ready to kill him, like kiss him.
Yeah.
There is no explanation. There is no time. This is one of arguably we watched Barbarella on one of our great episodes of Raised by Spoilers. You can go check that out. There's a lot of not sex, but it's a very liberal, very hippy dippy
Soft
liberal
core.
movie. She is throwing himself at this kid with the key.
Because she just watched him destroy 5 guys, and she's like, "Oh my god."
Oh, you're an abuser. I love that.
Wow, you've got a lot of issues and anger, and you don't really work well with your words, sir.
Oh, and that one vein in your forehead that pops out is just so hot.
I'm so turned on with assault.
I think it's like finally a guy that can throw me around.
Right. Well, we
You
do
know?
get that closer to the end. So he runs home astronomically quick.
That makes sense. That
Piccolo,
tracks.
yeah, absolutely, it tracks. Piccolo bounces with the ball, or doesn't get the ball at all. He just kills the grandpa.
Yeah, it's not here.
It's not here. And then we're left with probably one of the saddest moments that they don't necessarily linger on. The house is destroyed. Goku is searching for his grandpa. Grandpa just dies.
Okay, I have to give this. They made one joke that I really enjoyed in this movie. One thing that in my entire time, many times watched this movie, I laughed at, which is when he comes home and he goes up to his bedroom and he does the joke of throwing his jacket on his bed and there's no bed there. Half the house is destroyed. It just falls to the next floor.
Yeah.
I kind of like that
Yeah,
joke.
that was fun. That was a fun visual bit. Goku buries his grandfather, not informing any authorities or seeking help. He then searches his grandfather's belongings and finds the iconic, or not really iconic, we get the orange jumpsuit.
The orange
we
gi.
get an orange gi, which means absolutely nothing.
Which
because
apparently
it's
has
never
its own light
introduced.
source.
Which,
Yeah,
it has its
apparently.
own light source, and there's no lore or explanation. You just, wow, Grandpa kept his robe in a box.
I want his bathing robe.
It wasn't we're the order of protectors and we're the ones who are charged with keeping Piccolo in the box. There was no we're the fucking protectors of Earth. There was no nothing. There was just that's his robe.
It's funny how
Cool.
many things they made in this that were completely built for those who watch and love the franchise, yet they insulted the entire franchise.
Right.
So like, they have this.
Absolutely.
You, Rich, have no idea the importance of that gi. You don't know that. I do. So to me, it's like, oh, here's a little nostalgia thing. By the way, don't worry about everything else. We broke everything else. But here's this. And you're like, you're a fucking... this is
Right,
so
because he
dumb.
doesn't go, there's nothing. He just goes, Grandpa, right?
Oh, you.
That's it. Then we are introduced to a gun-wielding vixen.
Ooh.
Bulma?
Yeah.
Bulma, I'm saying that right?
Wow, you got that
Bulma?
name right.
Yeah.
Wow.
Bulma. I've seen a lot of women work out in Bulma give me strength shirts.
That makes
Because
sense.
it's
Yeah.
TikTok's great. I don't have a TikTok. Anyway,
She's a great, strong female character,
she
actually, in the
was
show.
fun.
Yeah.
No, not in this movie.
Oh no, but like Bulma did a fine job. I mean,
She did as well as she could. I grant her that.
Yeah.
I grant that with every actor / actress in this movie, though.
yeah. I mean, there's what is it? The Kenzie test. Is there ever a moment on screen where two females or two female actors are having a conversation other than about a man or the main character? Because
No.
this does not pass it.
No,
There's a lot. There's a I think it's the Kenzie test or something like that. It is, and they asked that in a couple movies for representation.
Yeah, that makes
Right?
sense. I'm totally fair with that.
This does not do that.
No.
They are like Goku, and we don't know who wants to sleep with Goku because there's a little bit of all of a sudden sexual tension with Goku as Bulma's like, I
Yeah.
was gonna kill you, and they're laying next to each other and they're like,
They're real close.
rubbing noses, and they're
Well,
like, you weren't
the
gonna kill
thing
me, I
is-
was gonna kill you, and you're like, I'm gonna kill me, and you're like, what?
When they first meet in the show, like he's like what 4 or 5, and then she's like a teenager. So
Sure.
there's like a huge
Yeah.
age difference
Sure,
between them.
sure. Well, they changed the age, so now
Yeah.
Goku's a teenager and she's an adult woman,
So Goku's 25 and she's 30
30
in high school.
in
Yeah.
in high school. Bulma then gives us a bit of lore exposition.
But not
where
really,
it's like, I've got this. What?
Because she's like, you stole this Dragon Ball from me, and he's like, no, I didn't.
No,
Mine-
Promethean orb.
Sorry, yes. But then he's like, but
What?
mine
Where did
has,
you get that from?
mine has this many numbers, and she's like, oh, and then like it never gets talked about again about how this was stolen from her. Even when she meets with Mai later in the movie, there's no, you took my ball, you bitch. Like there's no context to that like robbery that happened.
I also love the fact that she is such. They make her out this to be because you know that she's going to be a part of the crew, the squad.
Yeah,
that-
she's on the team.
She's on the team, and yet she's clearly cold blooded enough that the moment he twitches, she's like, "Well, I'm gonna fucking blow your head off."
I'm gonna have to shoot you. I'm sorry.
Sorry, you twitched. You're dead now.
Yeah. Bulma tells us that her father's lab facility was broken into, and he's the head of Capsule Corp.
Wow, I'm amazed you got that name
Yeah.
because they only mentioned it once in this entire movie.
Capsule Corp, and none of it is explained.
No.
We then see. What's the other woman's name that doesn't?
Chi-Chi.
Mai.
Mai.
Oh,
we,
Mai.
we see Mai do like not even a quick caper. Should we just see a shot of Mai, which presumably is just a piece of styrofoam that they cut a hole out, sprayed it black, and then put it over the camera? Because Mai just kind of like Pink Panther's out of the scene and she just shifts out, and it's like, how are we gonna do this? Well, we've got a hallway, and we'll just make it look like there's a circle, and we'll just bye-bye. And she runs out.
It's not hallway. She blasted through a bunch of walls.
Didn't she have a jetpack?
She did. Well, the idea was that she blasted through a bunch of walls. If you notice, there's like walls busted apart.
Oh, yeah.
And she blasted through a bunch until she found a vent out.
Yeah.
And then she jetpacked out.
She jetpacks out through the air duct.
It's weird that they have these like shots that it makes sense when you're looking at the camera. It's like, okay, it's scientifically a correct shot.
Right.
But all of it combined makes no sense through the entire movie.
Yeah.
Like
and everybody knows what the Dragon Balls are for.
Everyone apparently.
Everybody knows.
Yeah.
Everybody knows. And it's not like, and that was the weirdest thing for me, was everybody knows what the Dragon Balls are for. But as soon as Goku's like, hey, there's weird magic in the sun and the moon, and this thing happens, and the teacher then just goes, okay, weird, crazy kid.
Yeah.
You just keep being weird and crazy. Ha ha ha. Like, there's never an explanation of just like, all of this knowledge is familiar in the world. Everybody knows this kind of stuff. Because besides our main characters, everyone's like, oh yeah, what do you got over there in your pocket? Banana, or is that a Dragon Ball? Because you just look happy to see me. And then like,
okay, I hate to use the word defend. I will talk about that.
Defend it.
No, fuck that. Yamcha didn't know. He was told later.
Okay.
And not only that, but I always took this in this movie as the wider world doesn't know shit, which is why Gohan and Goku are weird, because they are involved in this culty. It's a cult.
It's a cult.
It is culty little subsection where other people do know.
Yeah.
And they're part of that little section that believes in weird stuff that other people don't know about or don't believe in, and therefore they sound weird. And they suddenly meet a bunch of people in their universe that, oh, this is all making sense. We all agree because we're all weirdos. And that's where he feels home, because all these normal people don't like him, but all of the weirdos that he meets do like him.
But then we get into the problem with like Eternals, where they don't talk about the fucking giant robot in the ocean, right? Like we get all of these shots of like temples and all of this stuff, and the world isn't familiar with it because they just kind of ignore it.
Yeah.
Right? Hey, there's a guy, he's green, he's Piccolo, he's raising temples out of nothing and just blowing stuff up. Like there's never attacks across the map or terror. Like,
here's a news article.
Yeah.
Another city mysteriously blown up.
Right.
This way they don't explain why they know.
There's never an explanation of like, hey, this is the world and this is just what happens.
There's no world building. There's no understanding of how the world's viewing what's going on.
Right. And everybody just kind of keeps moving. So what happens next? We get the house, Grandpa, Bulma shows up. They kind of agree to help each other.
They basically go...
It's like a weird, shady deal. And Bulma's like, all right, it sounds like I'll definitely get screwed over in the end of this. And he's like, Goku's like, yes, you definitely will get screwed over at the end of this. Sounds like a cheering fucking great deal. They shake hands. It's really awkward. And then they...
Go to find Master Roshi.
A capsule pod and throws it, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
And then it turns into a four-wheeler?
Yeah, it looks like
or
it.
a three-wheeler kind of thing?
It's like a bike with like a sidecar, basically.
Yeah.
It was weird.
What's weird about this movie is Dragon Ball / Dragon Ball Z, mostly Dragon Ball, is part comedy.
Yeah.
So what I find weird with this movie is we're going through the plot here.
None of it was funny?
None of it was funny. They clearly filmed it like a comedy, though.
Yeah.
But their dialogue was not funny enough to actually be a comedy.
Mm-hmm.
This summer, 6 quirky teens get their hands on some glowing orbs. Who knows what's going to happen? Dragon Ball Z. Hey, every little thing she... And it's like, oh my God.
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Fuck. So, Goku now, for some reason, is like, I need to find Master Roshi.
Well, because Gohan, on his dying breath, is like, find Master Roshi.
Gohan is Grandpa. I'm so sorry. Grandpa is Gohan. Gohan is Grandpa.
Yes.
Tells him, I'm dying. Don't call for help. It might just be a concussion.
I just need to sleep here for a while. We're
I'm
fine.
going to take a sleepy sleep. And then nothing fucking happens of it besides him just getting buried alive. And telling him, go find Master Roshi. Which, why is it a house from like Brooklyn surrounded by fucking Hong Kong city skyline.
Yeah, I don't get that
Oh
either.
my
It's
God.
all filmed.
In the-
Like, I know it was
like-
shot in Mexico, but a lot of it looks like the Hong Kong skyline.
Yeah, but like Kame House does not look like that at all.
no, I know. We have the Twitch channel, the Twitch fucking Kame House where they just play lo-fi hip hop. Shout out to those guys.
Yeah.
It's fantastic and
That
just,
makes sense.
It's wonderful.
So Kame House is supposed to be an island in the middle of an ocean, and that's the whole point. That's what they're trying to purvey, but they don't want. That's too weird and out there. So instead,
Right, a green man from fucking the moon
exactly.
looking for rocks is the weirdest thing besides a house.
that's fine. This is too weird. We
pink
can't
house.
do that. Yeah.
It looked like it's when they first arrived and she's looking up the address. We're trying to look up his address. It looks like he's in front of a thing saying, apartments for rent, only 45 units left, and it's this huge apartment complex that they're building. And it just seems like I mentioned when we were watching it that like he just refused to like sign the paperwork. But it also looks like they just took out like the whole block, which turned into an island just around his
Yeah.
apartment building.
In order to rebuild apartment complex, they didn't just demolish the buildings that were around there. They instead dug a fucking quarry around his
Yeah,
house.
pretty much.
Yeah.
So an island in the middle of the city,
Which, God.
which didn't really work because like there's
Where is
walls
he? We'll never
missing.
find him. Is it that guy?
Also, no turtles.
Yeah.
Turtle?
Turtle.
Turtle.
Oh, that
Yeah.
upset me.
He could have been feeding turtles. That's a fun little callback.
He
You
could have
know what
been a
another
little
thing.
fun little callback would have been?
Yeah.
And I'm only saying this because I'm a stickler for detail. Master Roshi with the Japanese, what was it? The big titty goth girl? The Japanese art of the big
Yeah,
titty
yeah.
goth girl?
Yeah, yeah.
Why the fuck wasn't that an image from the show?
Yes.
Like a
Yeah.
comic panel.
They-
Because do you know how many t-shirts they would have sold of that white sort
they
of
could
stained
have
up
made it
with the-
Bra or well, not Bra. What's her name? The one who sneezes. You might remember.
I don't fucking know.
because they do the same
I
bit.
kind
In,
of remember
they do
it,
the
so-
same bit in Scott Pilgrim.
Launch.
Have you
Launch.
seen
Her name's Launch. Should have been Launch.
it? Launch? Her name is Launch.
Yeah.
Sure.
Look that up. Turn safe search off. Coward. Turn safe search off. They do the same thing in Scott Pilgrim, where they go, "Hey, have you seen this picture? Or have you seen this girl that looks like this?" And he holds up a photo,
cartoon
and Brian
version.
Lee O'Malley drew drew a portrait of Ramona Flowers. And then they're like, that's too on the nose. So he's like, all right, fine. I'll do it like Scott did it. And he puts the paper down and he quickly draws just the hair. Right? And then that's the bit where it's like, oh, there's the art. There's the vibe of like, hey, this is kind of goofy. I would have even expected ads of the art of like, here is an image directly pulled from Dragon Ball.
Yeah.
Of like the Coke can. Or
Yes.
the billboard in the background is drawn
mean-
because that's believable because it's advertisement. It doesn't have to be a real life person.
Yep.
And that's like, oh, fuck, we're in this world.
No, they
Build
got
that
none
world.
of that.
They couldn't do any of that.
Right. Master Roshi is like, you're a thief. Or Goku fucking knocks his bowling ball off the top shelf,
And wakes him up.
wakes him up. Master Roshi's like, get out of my house. I'm never going to help you. Goku's like, we need help. Bulma tries to shoot him. Goku then finger blasts Master Roshi, knocking Bulma black, missing Master Roshi. And then Master Roshi's like, haha, I knew this day would come. I have trained your grandfather and I knew all of these moves. And that was just weird.
Also,
I
Chow
like Master
Yun
Roshi. I like the fucking house. I like that he was like eclectic, like collector of just odds and ends and like stacks of porn in a weird way. Like
Yeah.
that was
That's
fun.
not
How he
brand.
is.
No, I get
That
that. I
kinda
get
makes
that.
sense.
But I like that. Like, oh, what's our take?
He's close. He's probably one of the closer characters.
Yeah.
But the thing is what I found weird is they kind of like, oh, I trained your grandfather. Like, his grandfather's 70. How old is Chow Yun Fat look in this movie?
Yeah, I know.
They should have been like
36. Like
Yeah,
he
I
could have been in
know.
high school.
They could have at least gave him a really shitty, like, I don't know, like glue on beard or something. Like, come on.
Right. And when you cut to fucking Master Roshi asleep in the hammock, guess what he's got? Sunglasses on.
Does he?
No, but that would be fucking dope.
Oh!
That would be dope,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, you're right,
He's
you're right.
bald. He's got a little bit of a beard, and he's sleeping in the hammock with sunglasses on. And then the event happens, and he throws the sunglasses off, and we actually get our actor.
Yeah.
And that's
Yeah.
the bit of like, oh fuck, there he is. He
Chow
looks
Yun.
just like it, and then he gets up, and the glasses fall off, or he punches the guy, and the glasses break.
Yeah.
and we get Master Roshi.
It would make sense. It's totally fine.
Fun little.
There's so
fun
many
little,
things they
like,
could have done.
you see it? Okay, we can't keep it for the movie because the thing, but we're gonna keep moving because it would be ridiculous.
Wow, we wouldn't want to spend money on glasses, but we'll spend money on contact lenses for Master Roshi. That
Why
doesn't
did he
last
have
out the movie.
contacts on? Why did he have blue contacts?
And that mysteriously disappear before the end of the movie.
Yeah, that was a mess too.
Yeah.
That was such a mess.
Yeah.
My bet for that was because they were blue contacts and these motherfuckers shot everything on a blue soundstage. And the blue was fucking picking up the chrome key.
Maybe.
I took it
And they
that,
had to black it out so it wouldn't fuck up the shots.
I took it as he wasn't wearing contacts. I took it as we were seeing the blue screen in his eyes, and they just weren't editing it.
Oh, maybe.
Or when the dragon rebirthed him in front of everybody, it fixed his vision.
Maybe.
That is terrible.
Oh, that's
Yo,
a
you're looking
conscious
for plot
choice.
holes here, and I'm trying to fill them. Okay, you can't be mad. You can't be mad.
Thank you for trying to correct and make this right the ship.
I'm here with the Lord dump truck, and I'm just trying to fill plot holes. All right. So Master Roshi says, "Fuck no." They fight. They get another Dragon Ball because Goku, because all of a sudden can smell Dragon Balls. It's bizarre.
They
He touches
also
it.
don't check on Bulma at all.
No, you're right.
Oh, sorry, I hit you full blast in the chest and you flew back.
She's
10 feet.
fine. We get that she's tough and scrappy.
I get it,
She's
but
a
it's
strong,
not
independent woman.
There's
Right.
no like, oh my god, I'm like, are you okay?
She bags her own groceries, okay? It's fucking great.
And carries them all into the house in one trip.
All the way in one trip. She doesn't need help at the door. Bulma's fucking got this. Goku picks up, what was it? The Palantir?
Yeah,
and
yeah.
sees the Eye of Sauron, the fall of
I
Gondor,
thought
the
that
fall
same
of
thing.
the fall
Yeah.
of fucking Numenor, and everything that happens. Puts it down. Master Roshi walks over, picks it up with his scarf, ties it around his neck like he's gonna crack a boy in the head.
All it reminded me of is when Gandalf does the thing on the Palantir, like, oh, you must hide it. And I'm like,
Yeah.
what the
We
fuck
don't
is
know how
this?
many there are. That's why that's honestly why I'm like, oh, that's where they're getting their powers from. That's
Yeah.
why they can do weird, crazy fucking kung fu shit. Right? They're good at kung fu. They work out. They're eating, they're on a protein diet, protein shakes in the morning, fucking hard keto, whatever you want to call it. And the Dragon Balls unlock this ability of ki and allows them to do crazy cool shit. No. But like the visions and all of that shit, like that's why. Because this movie.
They need to give you stakes because they're going on this journey and they're not reminding you. It's whenever he touches a Dragon Ball, it's reminding you, it's trying to remind you of the stakes that we're living up against.
Absolutely.
This is the bad shit that could happen.
Absolutely.
This is why you're on this adventure. That's all they're there for.
Absolutely. Fuck. Yeah, absolutely. Goku then, Master Roshi, and Bulma go, we're going to do this together and we're going to build a team. We're going to assemble. And they go out and they start looking for Dragon Balls with Bulma's locator.
Yes.
Right? And there's a quick quip about the locator.
Yeah.
Bulma says something about it's like the BDWM or whatever.
Dragon Ball Energy. DBE. Clever name. And I'm like, she said the thing.
She said the thing. That's all you need to do to keep fanboys happy.
No. Dragon Ball DBE is the name of the movie. Dragon Ball Evolution. It's the short form of the movie.
That's
Wow,
why
that
when we
is
brought
so
up
cool.
the name
That
earlier,
is
I'm
so
like,
cool.
that's the name?
That's
oh my
so
God.
cool.
Yeah.
We did skip over the scene of them not being able to find Master Roshi and Goku getting a turkey leg because they stopped at Ren Fair on the way to fucking find him.
That's
And
the
that
one
was awful.
callback to him just eating, like, because he'll do that. He'll, like, be eating, like, a huge, like, chicken leg in the show. And it's like, where did he get that?
Right. Yeah.
It's so bad.
Yeah. Also a
This
great
is where
spot.
they meet
Also a great
Yamcha.
spot where they could have interjected stuff, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so we're going to skip past Master Yoshi. From there, I need your help with this one.
They randomly turn a corner and they fall on a terrible back screen as Bulma turns left on the bike.
Yeah.
On this terrible blue screen or whatever background scene. She falls into a hole which Yamcha had dug, which is actually how they met in Dragon Ball.
Is it?
Yeah.
So that's the scene. That's cool.
Yeah.
That works.
Without Master Roshi, though.
Master Roshi's like, hey, we don't have a lot of fucking time. You better let us out. And he goes, piss off, old man. You look like you're 36 and not an old man. And from there, they all have a little campfire in a camp.
Yeah,
And they
Master
they have,
Roshi
like, nice
is in a
little
huge
sit.
hurry. We don't have time for this
We
shit.
don't have
He
time.
coulda got out
the
at any
world is
time.
at stake. Master Roshi then finally says, fuck it, enough's enough, and then just flies.
After
Yeets
telling
himself
us,
out of the hole.
after waiting till nighttime,
Uh-huh.
telling a story that we have already all heard
Several
about
times.
Ozaru and Piccolo several times.
Right.
And then he finally jumps in.
And then he fucking flies out and says, enough, punk, you're going to dig a hole. And the guy's like, okay, I guess I'm going to fucking dig a hole.
Well, no,
Because I have
he-
all of the MacGuffins are on my Jeep.
He promised Yamcha a third of Bulma's like share on her company, which is an odd thing.
No, she promised it because Bulma was going to make money off of using the Dragon Balls to
Oh,
generate
yeah,
unlimited
yeah.
power.
Right.
And that's an invention, and he basically promised her 1/3
Oh,
of
okay.
that.
Right.
Gotcha.
They're using Mako to drain the planet.
Yeah.
Okay? If you can get that reference, shut the podcast off. It's time to stop listening. Go touch grass.
It was also odd that they drilled a hole through the wall. Like I'm presumably like
Not a wall, a cave.
cave 10 feet underground,
Right.
and then they traveled to
6 feet in left and then 30 feet down
yeah.
is the fucking belly of Mordor.
I was going to say,
Yeah. The
it's Mount
center of the
Doom.
planet.
Center of Earth.
Yeah, which they have no problem breathing.
Not at all. No problem. Everything's cool. They find the Dragon Ball. It's across a lava chasm. None of them are sweaty.
Yeah,
It's
not a bead
weird.
of
None of
sweat.
them are like, holy
Yamcha
shit.
gets
Why
a
is it so
whole-
hot down here? Oh, wait. Oh, geez.
Yamcha gets a whole steam thing blown right at him that would
Right
just
up his
melt
ass.
his entire existence.
It would just melt. It would be horrifying.
But that's
that would
comedy.
be horrifying.
That's
to
the
watch.
comedy of Dragon Ball. I accept that one.
No, I love that. Except they're like, the lava is hot. Yamcha gets fucking burnt, like burnt to a crisp, and then goes, oh no, that's going to hurt tomorrow. Then they get attacked by lizard people.
Bug people.
Oh, they're bug people.
No.
They look like
Were
bug
they-
people. They
They're
were
just-
Piccolo's
Piccolo bond,
Piccolo
like-
gives-
blood babies.
Yeah, Piccolo
They're-
gives blood
As far
and
as
then
I'm
creates
concerned,
mudmen.
they're clones of Ooze from Power Rangers, as far as I'm concerned.
They look like Yurkai.
I think they're lizard folk.
Sure.
They're lizards
'Cause they're
underground.
Lizards in the center of the earth.
Lizards in the center of the earth, eating mole people, dressed like mole people, harvesting organs for the pizza place in the black market. Hillary Clinton stole the election. Anyway, in the Dragon Ball world, the lizard people are fighting our heroes, and they get thrown in lava and chopped up, and then they heal themselves.
Well,
it's a fucking
they
mess.
self-heal, so Goku realizes he's going to... Goku, who is notoriously known as being an idiot in the show,
Right.
is the clever one and decides he's going to cut them up and starfish them, where they each spawn off of each
You're
other.
making more of them. Oh no!
Oh no! And he just tosses them into the lava to make a bridge,
Which is awful.
which is awful.
Awful.
Also, that's Goku shoving creatures into something that is killing them as fast as they are regenerating.
The lava
Putting them
does
in-
not get agitated
The lava does not catch it.
at all.
No.
Would it normally? Would it? I don't know. I don't know much about lava.
Yeah, it has some
Would it
like,
like
flowy
like
consistency.
explode
Yeah.
and
It would bubble and
bubble and boil?
Yeah.
Okay, fair enough. I don't know.
drop an ice cube in a deep fryer.
Yeah, like don't get me
Yeah.
wrong. It was so. There were so many things wrong with the scene. That's not a part that I chose to give a fuck about.
Well, I'm still hung up on like why Piccolo didn't just build an army with his blood.
Because he can only build so many. He's only got so much blood.
You're right. But the MacGuffin of that right there is if you cut a one in half, they create more.
Oh yeah, touche. Yeah, spawn them and then just start like putting them in a dicing machine.
Right.
Put 'em in
And
a
you
fucking
give blood
blender.
what-
Yeah,
what- you
episode
give-
of Will It Blend?
Yeah, yeah, man. You get blood once a week, and you just fucking keep eating cookies and getting pins, and then you've got an army in a month. Think about it. It's been 2,000 years, right?
Yeah. Why the fuck do you need a dragon to grant you a wish if you can to rule the world when you have an unlimited, indestructible army?
Right.
Yeah, good point. You're right. I got nothing.
Right,
I got nothing.
right. You know what I mean? I'm not saying no, but
I got nothing.
as soon as we were introduced to like lizard or the blood people, I was like, oh man, this is awful. And he's controlling them. Why doesn't he just take over the world? Because he's using the Dragon Balls to wish to take over the world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If he knew the Dragon Ball was there and he put his minions there plus Mai, why didn't Mai just grab the ball?
I don't know.
It seemed
Right.
like they were there for a while.
My make the wish.
Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
right?
I can't defend everything.
I can't
in this
either. No,
movie,
but there's
okay?
no. I'm just saying, like, as like viewers, we're all kind of like, what the fuck, kind of thing. And
Nothing
then
makes sense.
nothing makes sense. The world is topsy turvy. Okay, so they get the balls. Mai pops in, gets kicked. She goes to steal the ball.
Holy shit. We're not even that far into this movie.
We're not. I'm trying. I'm moving, man. I'm speeding past.
Oh my
stuff.
God.
I'm speeding past stuff right
Can
now.
we get to the Chi-Chi kiss?
No, we can't because you have to wait because there's even more. Mai gets kicked. So they get the ball. There's a fight. They get the ball gets dropped. Nothing happens. We then go to the fight of Chi-Chi at the arena.
Well, Master Roshi brings him to like this temple where he's going to learn to do stuff and and martial arts stuff. And he's like, it's a sacred temple that no one goes to. And then you get there and there's an entire group of martial artists.
After
including
Bulma, after doing this for like, I'm presumably around the third day and like 2 days away from like a day before the eclipse.
Yeah.
And then Bulma's like, oh, looking at this, there's no way we're going to find the other ones the night before the thing is going to happen. So he's like, I have to go and talk to my buddies to build another enclosure for him.
Another Mafuba
Well,
container.
they're
Weren't
at the
they-
thing where we meet Chi-Chi, and Bulma's like, "There's a Dragon Ball close."
What a coincidence.
Boop, boop. Right?
But like, wouldn't they have known ahead of time that they wouldn't have had time to get them all?
No,
Do you know what I mean?
no, not at all.
It doesn't make sense.
Doesn't make sense.
Nothing makes sense.
You're just speaking too much
But
truth.
it sounds like Roshi basically didn't trust in Goku. And he's like, well, we're going to go to the temple because I got to go get the Mafuba container.
We need help.
Yeah, I need
help
to
and I need to
redo the Mafuba.
I gotta go talk to management. I need help. And we need to figure this out. We then go to the arena
Yeah, suddenly we're
where
in an
Chi-Chi
arena.
is fighting in this tournament that she wants Goku to fight in.
Yeah, I think so.
She's fighting Mai,
Yes.
and Mai cuts her.
Yes.
yeah.
Mai suddenly
Which
gets entered
scratches.
into a tournament.
Right.
She was just on a mountain,
Loses.
by the way.
She was on a mountain.
volcano.
Yeah, we skipped past that.
Wait,
She was just on a volcano.
she was on. Yeah.
And then now she suddenly beat everyone else to the tournament
Right.
and signed up and participated in a tournament. Went through enough rounds to get to Chi-Chi.
Right. We easily done. Cuts her because the only way she could have cut her or scratched her arm is like Escape from New York style, scratches her, and then just kind of like, all right, I lose. I'm out. Leaves and then drops the one drop of blood, and this is the only blood in the movie, into a glass vial.
Yeah. She couldn't have just walked around with her on the street and go, oops.
Right. Yeah. And then we're back at the temple because Goku goes and gets her.
Yes.
The temple gets attacked by Mai.
By Mai, yeah.
No, because Roshi's got to do the fire. Take over. I'm all over the place. I'm
So-
I'm spinning
he's
out.
still
Yeah,
spinning out.
prior to all
spinning
this,
out. Yeah.
Roshi, they're at the tournament, they're at the temple grounds.
Right.
And basically we've already gotten the blood from
Mai.
with Mai. And now Roshi is trying to train Goku more while they're waiting for the container of the Mafuba to be
Right.
created by the monks.
Yes.
So Goku effectively is learning the Kamehameha wave, which is not a wave in this, it's more of a blast.
Yeah, it's like an energy ball.
Yeah.
Of light.
And every single time they do the blast, they have to do this hand gesture, this whole
gotta roll up the
Shaolin
sleeves.
monk thing. Normally it's just to hold a ball to your side, but whatever. So it turns
It's
out
pulling in the energy.
it's pulling in the
cool.
energy.
It
It's
is
cool.
It
It's a
does
cool
work.
little motion.
I
It's
do
like
like it.
pulling it through your arms into
Yeah.
your core,
Yeah.
which is true. Like that's very thematic for the show. Like I'm not upset about that. What I am upset about is so then he tries to do the Kamehameha and he shows him and it's just an air blast where instead of an air blast, it's like a fire blast that puts on a fire instead of takes out a fire.
Right.
Okay, that's what he does. And he goes, oh, you're instead of training Goku and being like, hey, we only have so much time, so I'm going to spend time training you and watching your movements to improve you. He goes, keep working on it. I'm going to go to sleep.
Yeah.
Bye.
Chi-Chi shows up and says, hey, light the candles and we'll make out maybe.
Pretty
Or I'll
much.
sleep with you.
Yeah.
It's weird. There's a lot of implications. I don't necessarily know, even if it was Mai, if that was Mai, why she would walk in and be like, hey, we're a love interest, right? I have no context. I have no context of your relationship.
That was not mine. I don't think that was mine.
Was it though?
No, it wasn't mine.
Okay.
That
So
was
she's like,
Chi-Chi.
yo, light the candles and I'll light your candle, baby.
Yeah.
And
The only time he was successful at doing any ki blast, except for the last time at the end of the movie,
Right.
was when he was checking out Chi-Chi.
right.
Yeah.
Right. Weird.
Terrible.
Yeah.
Yeah, and even then with Roshi, there's no like clear mind. Like, you can't be thinking about these
Yes.
things. Like, hey,
Bring your energy.
You
and it's
have
not
to have a
discussing.
clear mind in order to use these powers. If you are like the Force, right? Yoda.
Yeah.
If you're thinking about your friends, you're going to lash out with anger instead of like the clean sweep.
Yes. Yeah, so they do that. She gets him to do the Kamehameha wave, and then they fade to Sexy Black.
Sexy Black gets faded as he lights, or as he puts out all the
All
candles.
the candles.
But they
Yeah.
don't utilize it in a clever way. They just kind of screen wipe.
Yeah, and then so you kind of get this implication that Chi-Chi may have had sex with Goku, but it turns out that Chi-Chi just stole the Dragon Balls, and it's actually Mai who has the power of Puar and Oolong now, apparently, of shapeshifting.
So one Asian woman disguised herself as another Asian woman.
Yeah, pretty much.
To get the Dragon Balls. And so now they've got all the Dragon Balls. And here's the deal. Goku has his moment of fantasy where two Chi-Chis are fighting each other. One Chi-Chi goes, I'm the real Chi-Chi. So he just hardcore kicks the other.
Right.
Just with all his might puts her out. And then turns around. There was a cool moment you mentioned. I thought it was pretty interesting that you kind of liked the moment where you looked down and saw the cut on
her arm. And I'm
then he went,
like, oh,
crap.
shit. What? Yeah, I fucked up. Because we all remember that because we seen she got cut.
That was pretty cool. That was
good.
That was
man.
okay.
Like, that's the thing. Like, it's not. There's not even fun moments as much as they drag on. But there's moments where it's like, okay, we're thinking about this scene. We're actually taking a minute to think about what the fuck would happen, implications of it. My pretty much parkours her way off the fucking temple and then just jumps. They all have all the Dragon Balls at this point.
Yeah.
And now they have to say, enough sitting on our hands. We have to go fight Piccolo, whether we're ready or not.
Yeah, and they make one more faux pas, which is
Pressure cooker, Instant Pot.
which is Roshi uses the Kamehameha wave to he didn't resurrect because he wasn't dead yet, to reinvigorate Goku. Using your energy and giving your energy to someone else to reinvigorate is not something new to Dragon Ball. Using the Kamehameha to do that is definitely.
Yeah.
So anyway, it was close, but not quite. Like you can tell they just like wanted to coin that Kamehameha term over and over and over again.
Okay. Yikes. From there, they have the showdown with Piccolo.
Yes.
Yeah.
And Goku, for some reason, decides that he has been carrying, which we have not seen at all in this movie, his grandfather's gi and decides to put it on.
Well, it's technically always his gi when he was Ozaru, because if you notice in the flashbacks, little snippets of flashbacks, Ozaru was always wearing that gi.
They
Right.
never talk about that.
They never talk about that, and I'm pretty sure they just reused the same CGI footage over and over and over.
Oh, probably, yeah.
With a color filter on it.
You're probably right. Yeah, it was so quick I couldn't quite tell, but I'm sure if I looked at it.
You're right, because we couldn't tell.
But no, I think it was always his gi as Ozaru.
Right. So they fight Piccolo. Piccolo kills Master Yoshi.
No. Goku kills him.
Because he turns
As
into
Ozaru.
Ozaru.
Chokes him.
Piccolo remembers like
Monkey chokes him out.
Oh, yeah. Yep. And then
Piccolo does the twist of, no, you are not here to kill Ozaru. You are Ozaru. Dun,
Right.
dun, dun.
and then we get the line. The best goddamn line. They said it in the beginning of the movie, and we all forgot to mention it. And this is how I think we all should live by. The one rule, and then it's like his grandfather's voice echoes in his head, is there is no rules.
Oh,
and then
yeah.
he stops, and he stops turning into the monkey werewolf thing.
He gets it together a little bit because he realizes what he did.
Yeah. I think after killing Roshi, he feels a little remorse and he feels connected to himself. So he un-Ozarus himself.
The only rule is that there is no rules.
And to become
And we don't talk about Fight Club.
and to become one with myself, I have to be two.
Right.
And then he can
These
control it.
great moments of wisdom.
Which would have been better than like the black screen that we get in the beginning instead of like Grandpa's fight and Goku being like, how the hell did you wind blast me off the ropes? And Grandpa saying, you got to remember there's no rules.
Yeah.
Right? There is no spoon, Neo.
Yes.
Right? We didn't have that. And that's what it very much felt like at that
Yeah,
point.
you're right. That is a good point. That would have been a good little tie-in from the beginning to the end of Gohan's training.
Right.
If any of this was good.
Right. Because the movie kind of wants to be The Matrix. The movie kind of wants to be Hong Kong style kung fu action flick. And it's all over the place because of influences.
One thing they were never going to show is how Goku eventually beats Piccolo. They could never show it on screen, and that's because what did we see in this movie?
A lot of the light.
Yeah,
They were hitting
explosion.
each other with lights and explosions, I guess. Wait, I thought Piccolo was a good guy.
That is how he kills him. He literally in the movie, or in the show, he literally punches straight up at him, I jump real good, not fly, jump real good, and punches through his chest.
Wild.
Wow.
Nice.
That's how he
Wild.
kills Daimyo Piccolo.
Well, spoilers for Dragon Ball
From 1970 something.
1970 something. They fight. Piccolo gets knocked out. Goku makes the wish to save Master Roshi
Instead of his grandfather.
instead of his grandfather.
Yeah.
I don't necessarily know what Goku's wish was going to be because they didn't really talk about why he's after the balls.
I don't think he realized. I think he was after the balls to
Defeat Piccolo.
because he knows Piccolo's after the balls, so he
Right.
figures if I find the balls, I'll find Piccolo.
So we have a character versus another character who are roughly the same power level, and we're at the Marvel movie thing where it's the Hulk fighting another Hulk or Black Panther fighting another Black Panther at this point because it's
Yeah.
Piccolo fighting
Yeah.
Goku, which is the same thing. It's not like I need those Dragon Balls to wish to be more strong or more powerful than Piccolo, which is the exact same thing Piccolo wants to rule the world, even though he can create an army.
Yes.
So then it's the problem of, is Goku a protector or is Goku now treading the line of a problem, a villain?
Okay, that actually is interesting because that's a statement that's done in the cartoon, but we're not going to talk.
We're not
about
going to get into that.
We're not going to talk about that. But it's an interesting statement that you make that statement. No, I think he was just going after him, and then eventually when he found out, kind of when he learned about the Dragon Balls and the story of it, when he got there, I think it was I'm here to do this, and everyone sort of agreed. Money isn't important.
Right.
We're going to resurrect this
Friendship
guy.
is everything.
Friendship is everything. But the friends we made along the way.
It's a friendship is everything. Yeah. So they wish for the wishes. They bring back Master Roshi, and then they the Dragon Balls disappear.
They get rescattered around.
They
the
get
world.
rescattered across the world, and they turn into stones for a year,
Right.
Until they unstone themselves in a
We
year from
don't
now.
know any of that.
Now you don't know any
They
of that.
just say
They
we're gonna have to go find him again, which
Yep.
is a fun way to end the movie because
Yeah.
we think we're gonna this team's gonna stick together. Hopefully, we get a post credit scene where a woman is taking care of Piccolo.
Yeah,
He's
who that
in
woman?
bed.
Who's that woman?
I have
Who
no
any of that
fucking clue.
situation isn't like, oh, the villain is coming back or any of that, or we're getting a new villain, which would have been a great stinger.
Yes.
Doesn't happen, and then we get just some banging mid 2000s angsty music playing, and that was Dragon Ball Z. Was there any special effects or props or any of the stuff that we talked kind of broadly about it, but anything that like stuck out that you guys were like, fuck, that's cool, I want to hang that on my wall, or like, damn, that was awesome?
No.
There was nothing memorable.
None of it.
Okay.
The CG was really bad. You can tell it was CG.
Yeah.
And it was very obvious. And it was, like you said, you can see where they set up the screens or if they ran out of space in the studio, like with the
Yeah.
turn. And it's like,
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
clearly like on a track. Like it was this bad.
So then, in a world of anime movies, how do we feel about anime movies? First of all, there's a few of them. Attack on Titan, Full Metal Alchemist, live action.
Oh, okay.
We have Detective Pikachu, some good ones, some great ones, some not so good ones. We have Dragon
Ghost
Ball,
in the Shell.
Ghost in the Shell,
Yeah,
Scarlett
that was
Johansson,
good.
the greatest
I like
Asian
that.
actor to live. Do we really feel like fucking Dragon Ball Z holds up, or if it was remade, do you think they would try to do a better job?
Do you know
is there oil still in that well?
Do you know what's funny is I think it compares itself to the anime/video game movies of like Uwe Boll.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
yeah.
it fits
Blood
in,
Rain.
Yeah, it fits to that generation when
Yeah.
those games and movies were coming out.
Right.
It fits there. I think we've gotten to the point where even the worst ones today are drastically better than what we have.
Right. Well, I mean, look
Yeah.
at Detective Pikachu.
Oh, okay. I like that movie.
Everybody likes
Okay,
it. It's
good.
charming. It's
Yeah,
a charming,
it's charming.
movie.
It
And I'm
is.
not a Pokemon guy. It's very, very charming. And we had fun watching it. But yeah, I think
I think if they remade it like how they are doing the Full Metal Alchemist movies in live action,
Right.
like the actual Japanese productions, they can do this like really good if that studio did it. But like you said, he'll never let that happen again.
No.
No. They'll all just be animated
But I
movies,
think
which I'm
now
okay with.
it would be because there has been the resurgence, but it's a paradox because it's from this that we have the resurgence. But I think if it got made today, it would be a lot better. They would actually look into the source material costumes,
Yeah.
not having a high school drama.
The thing is,
Right.
their cartoon movies that they've come out with are really, really good. So I don't want them to try to do this again.
Right.
I just
Yeah,
stop
no.
doing
That's
live
fair.
action.
Stop
Just
doing-
keep
it
with what's
doesn't
good,
work.
what's working.
It doesn't work. That's fair. Well, folks, it's that time.
It is.
Welcome back to the podcast within a podcast,
Wait,
everyone.
before we do this, wait for us on the next episode of Raised by Spoilers after these announcements. Did. Welcome back.
Welcome back, everybody, to a podcast within a podcast. This is Eyebrows. Brow to brow. Let's build those bridges and tear them down. What do we all think? There was a couple close-ups, and Piccolo didn't actually have any eyebrows, so he falls cleanly in the Lost Boys section.
Yeah.
We do a little segment where we rate them. So, thoughts? Best, worst? Do we have any sticklers, or is this
opening
one that we
scene-
skip over?
Opening scene unibrow was pretty solid all the way across.
Yeah, they could have plucked that bad boy.
Oh, yeah, they definitely
The
could've.
bridge.
Yep. I'll give that one probably like a 7.
Mm-hmm.
7.
I think Mai's eyebrows, when they were showing through her bangs,
I'm about to say, her
Bang
bangs or her
brows?
eyebrows?
yeah, they were pretty well manicured.
That's fair. That's fair.
Yeah.
I do want to comment only on Piccolo, just because I know he doesn't have eyebrows, but the fact that Piccolo was a prosthetic piece instead of a CGI character, who would have been a poorly CGI'd character.
Yeah.
And he didn't have his weird little goofy antenna.
He kind of did. They were
Those
injected
were
into
his
head.
elf ears,
Yeah.
please.
No. He had like little antennas, kind of like almost as if someone took his antennas and just flattened them into
No,
his
he
head.
had like Borg ridges. He looked like he belonged in Star Trek.
He honestly looked like if the Green Goblin wasn't a mask.
So,
You know what I mean? Like,
fact,
that's
they-
what I liked. I was like, fuck.
fun fact: they were originally going to make him an attractive character, and James Marston, who plays Piccolo, came in, who's a huge fan of Dragon Ball and the franchise. Basically went, "Yeah, fuck no,
Yeah, you can't.
you can't do that.
You got to make him villainous.
Yeah, so he actually forced them to change and put the prosthetics on him. As a part of that deal, they did not want to spend money on getting prosthetics for stuntmen. So he did all of his own stunts and actually
Oh my god.
injured
Make a
himself
mask. How hard is a
hardcore.
bad latex
Wow.
mask? You just shoot it from the back of him.
I don't know. They apparently he had to do all stunts because they didn't want to pay for other people to have prosthetics made for them. And he ended up getting a lot of injuries because of
He
this.
did his own Superman landing in
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
one scene. Wow.
To say the least, whether people loved working on it or loved the movie or the franchise, the fact that that story even exists is nice to know. Like, that is some reassurance of like, hey, there's people who did work on this film that loved it versus it was
Yeah.
just a paycheck.
The good news is that James Marston guy, he, like I mentioned before, he does end up doing voice in the English dub of Dragon Ball Super
Very
later
cool.
on. So he does get his payback, and he plays a pretty cool character. Zamasu.
Yeah, I really like
That's
that
awesome.
So.
Well then, friends.
Adam, your eyebrows.
Mine is definitely Grandpa Gohan's. They were wild. If you remember, they had that old man thing where they're just like curly all over the place.
Well, yeah, it's
love
true.
it.
And
I love
honorable mentions to his
Soul
soul
patch.
The
patch.
soul patch.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Eyebrows, literally, folks, this is just a segment where if someone's wearing a god-awful wig or any sort of close shot of a bad prosthetic.
Yeah.
That's what this is.
Yeah.
Friends, let's go around the table one last time.
Final thoughts. Ratings.
Final thoughts. What do you want to do?
God,
Puppy and wife?
there is not a negative enough number that I could give this movie that would do it justice. Honestly, I would never watch this again. I don't think I should have watched it the first time, and I'm watching it again just with you guys for this, and I don't want to do this ever again.
Okay. Well, thanks for being on the show. It was lovely having you. I'm sorry. We'll pull the bamboo skewers out from your fingernails and
Thank you.
the rocks out of your teeth. Nintendo Geek, did you love it? Did you hate it? What would you rate it?
Oh, this is one of those ones I don't think I would give it more than like a 2.
Wow.
I think it's my lowest rating because it wasn't charming. It didn't really hold up. Like the CG's horrible. The acting was really bad, unfortunately. And it didn't really, it's almost as if the writer or the director kind of skimmed through each like bio of the character and just kind of went with that without knowing more information about building up the characters or nuances that they would have, or, you know, it just didn't seem, it seemed like a very watered down adaptation of a movie that the director didn't really know what the story was.
Do you feel like the director watched an episode of Dragon Ball?
Yeah, maybe like one weird one. Like you kind of got into like episode like 56 of season like 13, and you're like, that is what I'm basing it off of, and it's like no context whatsoever. So I don't think I'd be watching it again. So yeah, like a 2, just because it was entertaining, because it was so bad.
Yeah. I personally would probably give it a 2 as well. This is not as bad as this is worse than Masters of the Universe for me. I feel like I don't necessarily have the nostalgia for Dragon Ball, so I'm not like, oh man, this movie thing. But I also don't necessarily have the nostalgia for Masters of the Universe because I didn't grow up in that era.
Yeah,
I didn't play with those toys. So I just thought it was a fun, like, it's the next Conan movie. This is rough. The CGI not necessarily holds up, but it does feel cheap.
Yeah,
it's not a product of the time where it's like, hey, this is as best as we could do. This looks real cheap, and you rushed it out.
And it felt as bad then as it does now. It's not like it's not like the graphics hasn't held up. They just were never good in the first place.
Yeah, brutal. Adam, this is your beloved masterpiece.
I can't give it a 0 because it makes sense as a movie.
It does.
There is a beat and a cadence. It follows
a through line.
There's a through line. It is a movie. Like it follows movie rules. So I will give it a 1 because I can call it a movie.
I mean, we'll see films. I think we're going to find a 1 one day. Like
that
an actual true 0. We're like, oh, this is unwatchable. Because like there was parts where we did chuckle. There was some cool action fight scenes and stuff. But it wasn't faithful to the source material, and it ignored a majority of, just movie rules even.
Yeah.
Yes, it did. It absolutely
especially as like a first-time viewer. Adam, take us home. Where can people find you?
Yes. Check us out at Ronin Geekery. We are part of the we are part of the Ronin Geekery family.
Sister show.
Yeah, we have a sister show. Check us out at Ronin Geekery on Twitter, and check us out at the Ronin Geek Podcast. You can find us anywhere you find podcasts. We are the 90s game magazine of podcasts.
Wonderful. I'm over at Geek Movie House, Nintendo Geek. I know you are at Nintendo Geek on all the Twitters and social medias.
Nintendo_geek, and on Twitter and Instagram.
Beautiful.
I'm going to try to get better at Twitter.
We all take time and practice. Nobody's good at Twitter.
And then, our official Twitter for the podcast is RBS Pod. So check us out on Twitter there as well.
Definitely check this out. Give us a hit. Let us know what movies you want us to hear us talk about, or if there's anything we've missed and haven't viewed. Thanks a lot, everybody. Don't forget, Jeffrey Epstein didn't kill himself. And have a great night. We love you.
Next episode is controversial Christmas movie Die Hard.